and lasses of the cover kingdom, welcome back once again to the realm of Cover Decoder.
Cover Decoder.
That's right,
Cover
folks.
Decoder.
Yep, we are back once again. It is the show where we remove the unnecessary hat of deception to reveal the third eye of Cover Truth. Yeah, that's right.
The unnecessary hat?
The pineal gland.
Was this like Harry Potter?
Cover Truth.
You know, it's like, this episode is like a rugged Harry Potter. It's like if Harry Potter's wife died and he started smoking and drinking and
He became hard-boiled Harry Potter.
became hard-boiled
Private
Harry
Eye
Potter.
of the wizarding world.
This is
Ginny
about the
left
best
me.
Harry.
Yeah, this is the real Harry. This is the gold star Harry. Yeah.
Listen, Leonidas. You listen here, right here. You hand me that scotch. Listen, I was the boy who lived. You understand? I was the boy who lived, and they killed her. And I'm on the street. I'm on the street every single day, tracking down crime.
Just sitting at Diagon Alley. The has-been Harry.
It's so good.
Oh.
Yeah, but we got a pretty cool episode for you here, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are talking about covers that you have seen, that you either thought were going to be amazing and turned out to be horrible, or vice versa. They were horrible covers that then changed your mind because you finally somehow read the material. So that's what we got going on this episode. Real quick, I am, of course, Tapes. To my screen on the left here is the one and only Brengineer, the diddly dooper, the button booper. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. And, of course, in the little bubble on the top of my screen is the magnificent, the glowing, starchy, effervescent inks.
Oh,
Give it
The
up.
man with the giant water cup.
Yeah.
I know. I you can take the country out. You can't take the country out of the boy. You know that saying. And this is pretty much like my matching cup set is a bunch of mason jars.
We also have Mooney here. Moon Age is
Of
here.
course, yes. Forgive me. Moon Age is here.
Listening, watching,
Yeah, he's kind of like our voyeur.
ever
really.
watchful.
He's like our podcast peeper. He's just
the
creeping in on the
peep-in.
covers, looking at him through the window. What are they looking at there? What are they pulling back? Real quick, some interesting news for all y'all. We're still in the Corona days here. I just wanted to highlight that sometimes in the shitstorm of terribleness, there is a silver lining. And life has come to the Northwest. If you thought that everything was bad, everything was Corona, no, you're wrong. A new species of murder hornets has arrived in the Northwest,
Wait.
and they're killing bees.
I don't like it.
Yeah. What? That's amazing.
These things
It's a new
will swarm you
species. It's a new
and
species.
sting you to death.
Guys, this is life has evolved. It has come to the Northwest. We have a new animal.
They have a natural enemy, and I guess that's the praying mantis,
Nice.
Oh, really?
from what I've heard.
All right. So what we do is we get a whole truckload of mantis, and we just unleash
Manti.
them upon the Northwest. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Listen,
This sounds
as a
like the start
politician,
of
you
a-
come up with good ideas all the time. We're gonna fight
This
the
sounds like
praying
the start of
mantises.
any ultimate schlockfest film. Great. All right, well, folks, we're going to jump in here. We have a really cool episode. I believe the Brengineer is going to kick us off. Inks and I actually are going to tag team our segment.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to Eiffel Tower those
We're
bees.
wearing like if superheroes would be wearing outfits where if my chest piece is blue and his is orange, like then we would have alternating colors. So
I think of it more as you're the guy with the Hawaiian shirt, and when you open it, I'm Quato, just like oozing out of your tummy hole. Look at the covers.
I'm gonna
Open
need
your
a bigger jar.
covers. So real quick, Brengineer, what have you got for us today? You got something schlocky?
Well, I'm gonna give you a story. I'm a storyteller. I tell things in the form of story, oral tradition.
Hold on, let me get my loot real quick. Inks, can you start the fire? Get the fire going.
Long ago, in a distant land. So in Portland, there is a magical place known as Powell's. There are 2 locations
so magical.
in Oregon, and I was pretty sad because when all the businesses were closing, basically Powell's fate was sealed.
Oh yeah.
They were basically shoestring. They were pulling money from one area to patch a hole in another area. They, weren't able to really keep up. They're making just enough to keep going. Now, if you're a book lover, Powell's, I think, is the biggest bookstore in America.
Yes, you must. It is an entire. It is an entire.
I'm pretty sure.
block.
Probably the biggest,
or at least in the West Coast.
the biggest bookstore left in America.
Yeah. It is like
Yes.
It's like 3 stories tall. It's an entire city block. It's huge.
Yeah,
It could be a
It's
shopping
huge.
mall.
I think the top
I
floor
mean,
the
yeah.
last time I was there was filled with like contemporary art.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
by the time
the
the
tops
edibles kick in and you get to the top floor, you're like, wait, I was in a
going on, man?
bookshop, but now I'm in a dream?
I'm in a dream. Ugh.
Anyways,
Tapes and I have spent hours
There's
in
never
their
enough
fantasy
time.
section.
There's never
enough time. You get fatigued before you can even finish looking through all the books and all the covers, and it's just an amazing place. So I was walking through, and I kept hearing about this book series. Brendan, you have to read this book series. Brendan, you have to read this book series. On and on and on. It's called The Black Company, and it's by Glenn Cook. And I'm like, yeah, Black Company, more fantasy. And they're like, no, you don't understand. You have to read this series. It changed fantasy in the 80s.
It's super dark.
Yeah. Now, I go to pick up this omnibus. At this point now, you can't really find them in single book form anymore. They're released on a omnibus series by Tor paperback.
Ooh, Tor,
And
folks. If you want some good covers, real quick, go and just look up Tor covers. Tor has at least in the past, a history of very awesome fantasy and sci-fi covers.
Yeah, Tor is a great company for fantasy. They're probably one of the greatest. So I go ahead and I pick this book off the shelf, and I'm instantly turned off by the cover.
Ooh.
So you can see it down here.
Is this the first cover we're looking at here?
Yeah.
with all the spikes.
This cover here is by Raymond Swanland, and this is the 2007 omnibus. It contains The Black Company, which was originally released in 1984.
Wow.
Shadows Linger, also in 1984, and The White Rose in 1985.
Now, real quick, I can see why the Brengineer does not like this cover, or did not like this cover. I'm not too bad with it either. Inks, I understand completely why you like it. But for the Brengineer, this is a little too. It's a little too anime-ish. There's the faces are a little too angular. The chick in the back looks like she should be like riding some sort of majestic chicken bird. Casting healing spells.
She is not ready for battle whatsoever.
And there's like this weird, like, goofy tree thing in the back, kind of going on. Yeah. So
and the other
understand.
thing is the typeface. The typeface. So here I'm holding up the original book, if you can see that. It's just got a weird, like, Microsoft Word, like, font in a box, and
it's a big black chunk.
Yeah, it's just an unpleasant cover.
Yeah.
And I picked that up. I looked at this weird, not really... This cover I didn't really care for. I mean, it's good. I mean,
What's
it's a
the
good
setting?
cover.
Does it make sense with the setting?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense once you read the book. But for me, this image isn't what the Black Company is about.
Okay.
This doesn't feel like it captures the atmosphere of the stories. I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me on that, but
the other thing about this cover is there's pretty much no color other than this looks like you're playing a black and gold deck in Magic the Gathering. There is no color other than black and gold.
When was this cover made?
Highlights.
This is 2007.
Yeah, 2007.
Yeah.
This was the thing. If you remember playing Zelda Twilight Princess, I don't remember when that was, but this looks like the same thing where it was just sepia. Everything was sepia and black, And I'll say real quick too, Tor is actually the company who did. If a couple episodes back we did I Am Legend, and they did that first cover that I did with the painting, and the painting was awesome, and then they put that weird filigree.
Was it sepia? Was it sepia? Not a sepia.
Well, it wasn't sepia, but they did
cover?
the same thing that Brengineer was, not feeling, that we all not feel, is where you take the painting and you obscure it with this big old blob of something or another, and it's like, what are you doing? Just take a page out of album artwork and put in a tasteful little text there that blends in rather than obscures the entire piece.
So Brengineer, this sepiaed right into your pants. Right into the toilet. This was no good for you.
I put the book down. Now, just so you know, this is a good portrayal of what happens in the book. The tree is the father tree, which plays a big part.
Father tree.
There's some coral kind of here in the background because they're on the plains of fear, which is like this desert, which is this desert sort of place with big coral structures. The lady, who is the villain. Kind of villain.
She does not look like a villain.
It's hard to describe.
She looks like she's more.
She looks like
your
your hot mom's best friend.
Yeah. Well, something that's fun about the Black Company is everything is gray. No one's really good, and things surprise you. For example, she is the evil empress, right? The evil empress, and they go to her castle, and it's beautiful, and it's lush, and it's green. And everything is well manicured, and
she volunteers on Sundays.
Yeah, exactly.
She takes care of the lepers and washes their porous wounds.
Yeah. And it turns out she's not really that bad, and the rebels that they're fighting against, who want to free the world from her corruption, aren't really that good. I would say they're just about as bad as she is. So a lot of the Black Company is this morality tale.
And the butler is running the show.
So that was by Raymond Swanland. He's had a career spanning over 20 years. He has tons of Magic cards, comic covers, book covers.
Oh, look at this
did you just say Magic?
Magic, yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Now,
there it is.
Now, he has an amazing website, and his art is amazing. But here's the thing about the Brengineer. I don't really like digital art that much.
Yes, this is so true.
I mean, look at his stuff. It is absolutely incredible. His Star Wars stuff is amazing. His dark fantasy stuff, it's big and bold. He's a very talented individual. This is not what I'm into. Not at all.
This is good.
No,
it is good.
This is dramatic.
It's
got
good.
movement.
It is. No, it is. You're right. He's great. But the thing is, go to the Black Company one that's at the bottom and zoom in, and you can just see the pixels. You really can. And the bad, it's just, it's not crafted. It's manufactured to me.
Ooh,
see, for me,
that's a good line. Don't nobody take that. We're using that quote.
Yeah, the Brengineer, if you didn't know, just hit him up, DM him for some quotes. He will create a quote for you in just a matter of speaking. He will have your company's slogan.
By all means, go to the Raymond Swanland page. Look at the pictures. You'll like what you see.
You'll like what you see.
But the thing is, I'm not about the digital. I want to see those brush strokes, those real brush strokes. I want to see those layers of acrylic, those layers of oil. That's the artistry. The artistry is in dealing with the actual medium. And there's pictures of him actually painting with the actual medium. I have no doubt about it. He's capable of doing that. He's a great artist. But the digital thing is not for me, and that's why it took me forever to finally pick up that Black Company book.
That's amazing. So
here's the thing: is JPEGs can't get cummy.
Now, as I said before, this omnibus was made up of 3 books, and they were released individually back in 84, and 85 by this man here.
God,
this is Keith Burdak.
Oh my goodness! What is going on here?
He looks like Hagrid.
Dude, look at his beard.
Just look at his face and his
this is
his giant forehead and his
he's
feathery
sweaty
hair.
This is fucking Uncle Larry. Hi, Uncle Larry here to teach you about painting. Dude, look at that shirt. Look at that unbuttoned shirt. But his chest isn't even that hairy. So he's just trying to like show off his single lock of hair. Yeah.
So I have a typo here.
I was in a yacht rock band before doing covers for Black Company.
Want to see my yacht?
Yeah, it's just
I'll crack out the
hey there,
P&J.
bud. You had a rough day, I can see. Hey, come over to my studio and we'll talk about it.
You know, Jimmy, I like to paint my hate into my covers. That's why your mom is in all the covers.
I painted this back when your mom left me. So he was born in 1955, American painter. He primarily painted fantasy covers, and then tapes, you'll enjoy this. He started painting dinosaurs and working with dinosaur fossils.
Ooh. Inks will enjoy this.
Inks will enjoy that.
He will. He also... when dinosaurs walk the earth.
There we go.
I'm already on it.
And he works in airbrush.
Oh my God!
I know.
This
face works in airbrush.
Airbrush. I know.
Wait a minute. Can we just Scooby-Doo this guy for a second? I bet you if we pull his face off, it's just going to be inks going. I knew it was you, the immortal airbrusher.
And so he does the airbrush work there. Not my favorite. So let's look down at the original covers here. So we have the original cover for the Black Company and Shadows Linger, which are the first 2 books.
Oh, this is so good. This is so good. This is my shit. I've seen this Black Company cover, the first one here. Is this the first book you said? With the sword going into the thing and the guy going...
The pentagram.
This is amazing. Yeah. Well, look at this cool... Yeah. Look at this mask. Look at the lettering. Yeah. It seeps.
This is what I'm talking about. Look at this lettering. How it works so much better with the actual image. It's not in this big box. It works with the art. You know? And that goes for both of them.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a synthwave show. You go to see synth.
Yeah, so I really like in this second one, this knight here, he's just like, hey guys, hold on, I gotta go take a piss. So he walks around this rock, and then all of a sudden,
this orb with this woman.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my bush? I'm so
not
sorry,
piss
man.
on my private garden.
I shall curse your dong with sepia edge. It will only seep gold and silver colors.
So yeah, these are definitely, I would say, cheesier covers.
Easily.
They're more your classic fantasy cover. And I'm sorry, the airbrush is horrendous. I hate the airbrush. I do not like it, Sam. I am.
The screen is completely obscured by the claw.
With claw. The claw is so hard. What if the airbrush is on the side of a van and there's a wizard riding like a...
I will give a pass to airbrushed vehicles. Okay?
All right. But I'm getting disapproving looks.
I will give these covers a pass because I feel like in their weird way they kind of represent the books a little bit better. It's like that old dingy fantasy.
Well, so I'm confused. You don't like these covers?
No, I don't like the way in which they were painted.
They don't even look like they're done with the airbrush. Are they seriously airbrush?
They so do.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they so do. It's that soft, undefined, just like, ooh, here's the newest thing, the airbrush. And everyone's doing it.
Back
and
in
no one wants to admit it doesn't look that good.
You like these covers slightly more than the digital one.
It's like the crayon of the, adult art world. It's just
so
no.
if we're going Bringineer mediums, it's digital art, airbrush,
Yeah,
and then it just goes all the way up to acrylics.
So I would honestly I would take computer over airbrush for sure. But this is a rare.
There we go.
This is a rare example. Where I will take airbrush over the computer.
Dude, I just love Calvin the Foot Soldier getting caught with his dong out. That's great.
No, I can't look at it the same.
All right, so here's a fun story about the Black Company book.
Okay, go.
Yes, tell us.
This little quote here is from Glenn Cook, who said, "The cover of the Black Company was a cover somebody made for me, the artist. It was just an example. The marketing guy absolutely didn't want it. But while it was on his desk, a buyer from a large chain bookstore came in, and not knowing anything about the book said, 'I'll buy 50,000 copies of anything with that book on the cover.' So they went with it.
That's business, baby. That's
so there
covers.
You go. You never
covers
know.
are important.
That's
Here's
right.
the thing. I saw the cover. I want the cover. I want 50,000. You print it up right now, and I'll buy it. Do you hear me? Yeah, that's amazing.
So there you go. I mean, you never know where your art is going to be if you get it out there, Someone might just see something on Instagram, decide to like it, and boom, next thing you know, you've got yourself a career.
And someone else might look at these covers, and no matter what they look like, say, nah, not in a million, until they get that reference.
Right.
That's right.
Well, and it's all lottery tickets. It's all lottery tickets. I mean, there's different, ways you start out, but every time you do a piece, you're doing a lottery ticket and you're putting it out there, and you're hoping that it sticks or something happens. And just because it doesn't mean you're bad. It means go fucking make another lottery ticket, and then you might land on your thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's cool though. It really does go to show the power of the cover, and like how even something that I think a lot of people would find stunning or absolutely would draw them in to another, it's complete garbage. So it's really cool to see.
It's garbage.
And speaking of garbage, Bringineer, do you have anything else for us on the Black Company?
I do.
Oh,
so
okay.
Scroll on down. Speaking of garbage, the Black Company. Let me tell you something, folks. The Black Company.
That was supposed to be a transition.
The Black Company is one of the finest fantasy novel series ever written. It's unbelievable. It's surprising. Things happen where you're just like, what the heck? But it always works. There's a magic carpet chase. There's just too much bizarre, crazy, just weirdness that works so well. It's a 10 out of 10. I read a lot of fantasy. I read a lot of books. Black Company, next to Michael Moorcock's Elric novels, it's up there in the highest tier of fantasy. It's incredible stuff.
Yeah, Bringineer's been super turgid over this, and every time he talks to me, it's like that Dan McCaffrey kicking in the door for Nazareth, being like, and then they get on the magic carpets, and they fly through the desert, and they're going and they're raping and they're killing, but you don't know who's good and you don't know who's bad, but they got to fight the Gornak in the end. It's crazy. You can just tell that he's like super, super hyped off of these books, which is super cool.
Episode 1 reference, folks. Listen to it all.
Yeah.
We're working hard for you.
Okay, so last book that was in this omnibus is The White Rose, which I think is probably the best.
Okay, here we go.
Between the first and the third, this is pretty close to the best. I mean, it's really well done.
You like this more than the airbrush guy with the sword?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. It's not really that great either. But it's what I'm saying is it's well done. Like the tree has really nice definition. The lightning's really great. I love how it goes from this dark, stormy sort of cloud foliage and descends down. I just don't like the roses along the side, but it fits with the story. So what can you?
Well, I will say it's framed well. Composition's important. You got to sketch and get before you even start on a painting. You got to sketch out your composition and make sure everything, like the guy pissing in the garden getting caught. That's a little bit wonky and it doesn't line up very good.
Oh yeah,
with the first book.
That's a super awkward cover.
In the last book, the main focus is right in the middle in like kind of a vertical pillar of the image. And so the composition works well, even though it is airbrushed and it's framed by. I mean, this looks more like, I don't know. It doesn't
speak
scream like
dark fantasy to me.
Power fantasy to me. It screams like Madam Fancy Bottoms Rose Garden has been besieged by weevils this season.
The queen at tea time has been poisoned in the rose garden. Ooh.
How will Gertie the gardener get him cleared out?
Yeah, if I saw this on the shelf, not knowing it was a Black Company book, I wouldn't get it.
Right. It looks like a romantic maybe or
The first book, definitely I'd pick that up. That is a great cover.
Easily.
If that had been on the omnibus, I would have picked it up that day. And if you want to see more covers, a lot of these wikis, you can go to fandom.com.
Yeah,
it's like
that's
a wiki thing.
Great source.
So if you go to Black Company, I have the link here, blackcompany.fandom.com. You can see all the variations of covers from different countries. Because it's been released in a ton of different countries. Tons of famous artists have done Black Company covers. So much good stuff on there. But these were the originals, so I wanted to pay them tribute.
That's the good thing about covers is if you don't like the covers that you see, if you look at another countries, you might find it. You might find a movie poster or it doesn't so much happen with albums, but with books and movies, if you don't like your tree's poster, go check out someone else's.
Lastly, for Inky Poo,
I want to read
a couple of Keith Burdak.
We just had
dinosaurs.
We just had to have you just couldn't get away without a little bit of dinosaurs in the show.
So we got some of his ink drawings and some more of his looks like his airbrushing there, and a kind of this really weird dated 1993 Velociraptor.
Oh yeah.
Ink
full on scaly boy. It's funny. There's this thing that a lot of paleo artists are trying to combat now of shrink wrapping, where if you take these dinosaurs look like they've been shrink wrapped to their bones. You know what I mean? And there's some artists. I will bring up this book eventually, but they did the same thing to swans, and it is horrifying. It will haunt your dreams.
And lastly, I have a link here if you want to see some more of Keith Burdak's art.
I do.
He's got a lot of dad art, like paintings of the Blue Angels from air shows.
Look at him! He's just trying to get Jimmy to love him.
Because
Carol's husband has a freaking Camaro.
Cardamom granola recipe.
He just he's like, honey, I'm just gonna pop into the garage and do a quick airbrush. That's what a lot of his art kind of looks like.
Hey,
he had to learn how to make lasagna.
Do you want a jam?
Yeah, it's the stuff you find at the country fair. He's got a little tent set up. He's got his caricatures that he's drawn, his Blue Angels paintings, his painting of the Camaro that some dude's gonna end up in some dude's man cave or whatever.
Yeah,
he
sometimes
listens
I like to wear my leather jacket.
Kids Bop to try and stay relevant. Yeah,
there you go. So in conclusion, if you hear about an amazing book, don't judge the book by its cover. Take the person's word for it. Read the Black Company. It's amazing.
Yeah, true.
You'll love it.
I mean, one of our slogans here at Cover Decoder is judge a book by its cover, because covers are important. But we bring these things up because it is important to have a good cover. So many more people could have enjoyed Black Company if they were drawn in by the proper cover. And we know that that's not on the authors a lot of times. A lot of times it's on the company.
Yes, it's those camels. It's those camel humpers.
Right. And one of the biggest
camel
failures, egregious mistakes out there is what Tate is about to talk about.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen of the cover world, we've got a big one here, and I too have a story to tell.
A crime.
Hear ye, gather round the fire.
Yes.
So, I don't know if y'all remember the days of Borders, and Barnes and Nobles. Barnes and Nobles is still around, but there was the days where there were bookstores, and they were all over the place. And I spent many a time with Brengineer here, strolling the aisles looking for covers, and there were a few covers that have always stuck in my mind. And one of these covers we're about to talk about happens to be one of Ink's favorite book series.
It is.
So before the Quato infusion that we are now, Inks and I were newly working together. We were just skirting the bush. We had not begun the full friend intercourse.
We were in the trenches.
But, well, we were in the trenches. We were sharing cigarettes, but we weren't,
right.
We weren't massaging each other's calves.
We
or
haven't
anything.
started trading rations yet.
No, we haven't. Yep. I didn't tell him about my girlfriend. Anyway, so Ink started telling me about the Dresden Files. The Dresden Files, written by Jim Butcher. And folks, I don't know if you know this, but Inks is so turgid right now. He's so excited about this. It's basically popping through my screen like Friday the 13th.
He's got that squinty. He's got the squinty eyes. His lips are pursed. He's kind of rocking back and forth.
It's freaking me out. Why does it smell like curry? It's weird. Get it out of here.
My eyes disappear when I start talking about Jim. Well, Dresden Files and Jim Butcher in general. Continue.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So we spent a lot of time, and Inks was just going off. Man, there's a dinosaur, and there's several different types of vampire clans, and there's all these different types of werewolves. And he's going off. I'm going, yeah. He's like, you got to read them. So excited, just diving in on these books, and. All the time, I don't think I ever told him this, all the time, the only thing that popped into my head once I figured it out was the shitty-ass cover for the first novel, Stormfront. The first novel of this guy, and if you pull up the first slide, it is a picture of a guy who looks like he's doing some World of Darkness cosplay, possibly early cyberpunk cosplay, walking around with a staff and a hat, and a duster trench coat, and a horrible cowboy hat. And so I'm sitting here going,
and the douchey pentagram.
Dude, that sounds really cool.
This looks like kids I went to high school with.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like you finally got your good-looking boyfriend or older brother to go to the Comic-Con with you. He's like, fine, I'll be a cool wizard.
He feels like such a dork. He won't smile. He's like, this is so freaking lame.
This is lame, but at least I look like a cool wizard.
And so this is what was in my head. I have seen this cover so many times. This cover specifically. And he said Dresden Files, and I knew it was this cover. And in my brain, I was like, fuck no. And I was like, yeah, dude, totally. I'll check that out. So, totally going to check that out.
Well, to add to the story, another person that we work with, kind of a mentor, she had suggested to me the Dresden Files, and I consume audiobooks at a voracious speed. Like, I can't tell you what the hot thing is on Netflix, but I have just put so many series of books into my ears because of the nature of my work.
Where are they going? Where do they all go? Yeah. How do they funnel in there?
Yeah, exactly. and this one had me just thirsty for the next book. And the audiobooks are read by James Marsters, who does a fantastic job. But he was catching me like right in the middle of just guzzling down the series, soundbite after soundbite. So
yeah, you're guzzling it like steak at Tang's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't get enough of that Chet's. You need more Chet Moyers.
I need some more butt sauce.
Some butt sauce. So here's how I got hooked into these. Actually, it was actually right before the Rona hit. Funnily enough, and I had just reaffirmed my hard love for the library. I went there, and actually, funny story, I was doing research for an episode that we haven't recorded yet. Yes. I'm not going to say which episode because we're going to drop that when we're back in the book house. But yeah, so I was doing research for that, and I was in the one of the shittier book sections, and directly on the other side, the library has a special area called the Cummy book section. It's actually called the trade paperback section, but we'll preface it as the Cummy book section.
It's a nice way of saying Cummy.
It is, and sure as shit, sitting there was pretty much all of the Dresden File books. And inks popped into my head, and I was like, you know what? I'm never going to buy these. I'm never going to listen to these, but I'll get it for free and try it out. So I picked it up, and I shit you not, I sat down and started reading this. I finished the book in 2 days.
It only took 3 years in a podcast.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is years of
use your library. Use your library.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
library,
so important.
Like covers are important. Libraries, support your library.
Yeah.
Buy books from the little bookstores. Fund their stuff. Like, a world without libraries.
Take your babies there.
It's a sad place. Take your kids there. Let them play.
Mm-hmm.
Get your kids growing up with an appreciation for literature and books.
Yeah,
and
put their noses in the crease of those books and let them smell the archaic dust of an old novel, and they will be forever changed.
You know what app I listen to all of these books on? Libby, the library app. You just sign in with your library card.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Get Libby with us, folks. Anyway, so this is how I discovered the Dresden Files. And I told Inks, I was like, dude, I'm reading the Dresden Files. They're amazing. But these covers suck fat butt.
They are butt sucking.
Here we go.
Do you know how I got into reading the Dresden Files?
Tell me, Brendan.
I opened up my locker at work, and there was a Dresden File book in there, and I picked up that cover. I'm like, damn it, no, because we used to make fun of these. Particularly, my least favorite one is this full moon one.
Okay, we're gonna get there. Okay, so let's start with Stormfront. So Stormfront is the novel that kicked it off for me, and this is the one I always remember. Like we kind of already described it. He's got his stupid glowy staff with like runes. The thing that pisses me off about this, the book is set in modern day Chicago, and it looks like he's in some like cyberpunk fantasy city. Like, what the fuck is going on with this cover?
Like, there's like a building with like runes like carved into it.
Yeah, it completely, and he's all serious. This cover for me does not represent anything about Harry Dresden or the Dresden Files other than the fact that he has a staff. All right.
So when I started reading it, I only started picking up the book a couple days ago because I knew we were doing this episode, and I'm like devouring the book. It's so good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't read like this cover at all. It reads like he's got a gross, dusty office.
Yes.
He goes down to get like his gross, greasy Philly cheesesteak sandwich. He's probably got like stains on the front of his shirt. He's all like skinny and gaunt. He works with like these, sort of bumbling detectives. He's got a favorite bar he goes to. It's very like, it's dirty. It's grounded. Real. It's grounded and it's grounded dirty. This makes it look like it's this exciting.
Right. Yeah, when you read it, you're like, this guy is one staff. I am one staff away from being this guy.
Yeah, here's the cool thing. So throughout the entire books, Harry just constantly is on a downhill slide, and he's running it. He doesn't sleep. He's like functioning on old shitty coffee. He's like, at one point he goes out in his sweatpants and like cowboy boots, and I think in that one section he wears a hat. But other than that, he doesn't wear a hat. He's never well kempt. He doesn't look good. He's gangly and awkward, and he's not this mysterious, sexy figure that is on the cover of this book.
He's bad with women.
Yeah, he's horror. Yeah, he's awkward. Yeah, he's not a stud. And that's what you get.
We've all been Harry when we're late to work at our second job, and we're like sucking down yesterday's coffee and throwing on the clothes that we found on the floor because we haven't learned to be an adult
jelly donut
yet.
in your beard?
Yeah, totally. The one thing I do like about all these book covers that I will say is that they have consistency, and for whatever reason, I do like the lettering. I like the bright, bold lettering colors. I do like that. And they don't block it off like Brengineer said with that Black Company cover. It's well put together, but the photos themselves. So I thought what would be fun, we're going to talk about, there's a lot of covers, so we're going to go through them fairly quick. Some of them there's a bit to say. Some of them there's nothing to say. And we're going to give you information as we go. And a very brief because here's the problem. Like I said, Inks is poking me in the eye through the screen. We're going to give a very brief, just paragraph about what the book is. So Stormfront, sex magic. Sex magic, true detective. You're introduced to Harry. He's a mess. We're going to go over here to the next book in the series. Book 2 is... and by the way, I should say Stormfront was written in 2000. It was the first Dresden File book. I should say it was released in 2000. And Jim Butcher is the author. We'll talk about him more in a little bit, but keep that in mind. So the next book is called...
It's a lot of fun. Read it.
Real quick, too, all these covers are put out by Rock Publishing.
Yes.
So these are Rock Publishing covers.
And Rock typically puts out pretty horrible covers. If you look at...
They are a mecca of slapped together... There are websites. Just a real quick digression here. So I know a woman, and her career is she writes these 70, 80-page Christian romance westerns. Woo. On Amazon.
Yeah, do it. Pump out the money.
That's what she does. She puts out 2 or 3 of them a month, and she makes enough to live on it, and she has a wide fan base. Her covers she gets from a website where you just pay. They just have. Just banks of pre-made covers, banks of them for all kinds of different genres. And you go in there and you pay your money.
Yep.
And they you just stick that on your book.
Just slap it on there.
You put your name on it. You slap it on there, and that's it. And that's what Rock seems like it does some of the time.
Yeah,
no heart.
This is McDonald's.
These are a little bit better than that, I will say. The second one here is real bad. This is one of my least favorites, mainly because for whatever reason, they decided to show Harry's dad pants, his dad jeans.
What's with the jeans? The blue jeans. It's tucked in with a belt.
Dude,
but that's the only thing that kind of is like accurate to the book is like he's not cool. He literally is like gathering stuff off the floor and throwing it on as he's leaving to go, save the day.
I hate how epic, like with the moon centered behind him. This looks like the cover of a Vampire the Masquerade expansion or something. It's so cheesy.
And he's got the hat. No one puts when your hat has one of those like little ties that go. No one puts that around their chin. No one does that. That gets taken off.
He's wearing the chin strap.
He's wearing that. Yeah, he's wearing the chin strap.
Smokes.
Yeah, he's got the chin strap.
I didn't notice that.
It's got like,
dude, this is the cheese. This is full cheese.
This is you're going fishing on the boat and you don't want it to fly off when a good guster hits
He's got a hole in his pants. He just bought these from Hollister or whatever.
His Levi jeans. Yeah. Oh, and this one is aptly titled Full Moon, and obviously it's about werewolves, which is pretty cool. Moving on to the third book here. This is probably one of my least favorite because...
Really? I like this one quite a bit.
There is nothing going on here. It is...
I know, but it's mysterious. It's this cool graveyard. There's a cool mausoleum. There's like this gross like septic fog coming out. He's like, this is the only one that actually looks like legit. It's kind of creepy.
No, this one is again though. It's sepia. It's seeping sepia all over the place. Look, it's just dust. It's just dust.
Yeah, I know, but it has a nice atmosphere compared to the other.
What I don't like is the big
far.
quote on the front. I hate that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, you should buy this because other people say it's good.
Right.
This style of cover is made for supermarket stands.
Oh, these are airplane books. These are airport books. You're like, I'm going to be on a 9-hour flight.
Dresden Files deserves better than this.
It does deserve better.
Well, you find this in an Albertsons. You find this in the airport. It's meant to this kind of stuff is
next to the balloons and jacks.
You sit
this
down
is next
to Highlander Dreams.
Yeah. So when you pick this book up, you can see the name of who wrote it. Obviously, the author. All giant. You get your nice little the News Star quote on there that tells you how good of a book it is.
New York Times best-selling author.
Of course. And so you know that you're going to pick this book up and you're going to devour it on your plane trip to Kentucky.
Absolutely.
In one sitting.
But these ones you actually will enjoy. So moving on to the next set. So this is is where they go into the phase of we don't want to show his face anymore. We're going to show his back. So we're going to get back Dresden, which I think is actually better because you don't have to see his
There's only one back Dresden.
His handsome chiseled chin. Summer Night.
Oh, this one with the CG gargoyles is so bad.
Horrible CGI gargoyles on it. And Inks, this one is about the Fae, right? This is a Fae book.
Which one? The Summer Night?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Summer Night is Fae, and I mean, I guess they're trying to go, hey, fairies, gold. It just does this one doesn't work.
And just, ladies and gentlemen, just so you can see a little bit better here, I'll describe it to you. This cover here is piss yellow.
It is piss. It is soul patch yellow.
This cover looks like you haven't drinking any water in like 8 hours, and you've been outside chopping wood and mowing the yard. And you come inside and you take a piss and you go, "Damn, I need to drink some water."
If you want to know what shade of piss Engineer's talking about, you can go to our website at coverdecoder.com and you can follow along with us. I will link to an image that has every single cover.
In the middle is this little red dot, and you're like, "Oh shit! Oh no! What is that? Why is there red in there?" This cover is not good. Water. Again, the only thing that I can say that I like about this again is the lettering, because the lettering is effective to me.
Decent.
The composition's fine. The next one actually I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. Yeah.
It's a little boring. There's not much going on.
This book is going to give you. This is going to be your book.
So the Death Masks, this is necromancy. So for all you folks out there listening, if you just want the snapshots, this is necromancy. And this is pretty cool because it makes sense. You have Dresden walking through this kind of white marbled hall. It's kind of creepy and gothic looking, and you get this sense of dread. So this one is actually fairly effective. And I think the lack of shitty CGI creatures did them justice in this one. And it's blue, and blue for me is always a good cover. The next book, this is one of my favorites right here, Blood Rights.
Yeah, this one's okay.
This one is pretty cool. The thing I don't like, they changed their actor, or he grew his hair out, so he's got these like locks tucking underneath his ears, like he's trying out a new hairdo or something.
No, the actor looks like Jimmy got into his mom's like dresser and tried on her clothes.
I'm not ashamed of who I am, Dad.
Nothing's fitting. Everything's just a little too big and baggy. And if you zoom in really close to the pentagram, the angle on that pentagram is
off.
All wrong.
Yeah,
it is off. It needed to be. They need to skew it to give it some perspective, because that thing looks like it was slapped on there in Photoshop, which it probably was. And
we're about to get to that. But one more thing about this cover that I really like: the color and composition is awesome for this one. First of all, like Inks was saying, the stupid little quote they have is really tiny. The purple lettering is super eye catching.
I'm getting rose. This isn't purple. This is rose. This is like pink. This is like
Periwinkle.
Sorry, this is Cadillac Twinkle. Not purple.
Yeah.
This is shellac rose. But yeah, whatever you want to call it, it's a great shade of purple. And this one, Blood Rights. What's this one about, Inks? Give me the single.
Oh man, I'm trying to remember. I'm currently re-listening to them because I did devour them at such a pace.
I got it.
Death Masks.
Vampires.
Yeah, I think. Gosh, it's got to be. It may have to do something with Vampires in the Black Court. But before we move on, I'll say this: the first 5 books were actually redone.
Yes, I was.
Because
this is
the
perfect.
next slide. Yeah, the next slide is what the books originally.
It gets worse, folks.
I hate these covers.
So here's
This is like Scholastic. I've gone to the book fair at my school, and this is what there is.
Oh, these are one step away from Animorph covers. If you put a guy,
exactly. I'm waiting to like flip the pages, and the corners have like a little flip book.
And well, these are the covers that I saw on the audiobook. So when you get the audiobook, these are the covers that pull up. The only thing that I will say about these covers that is better than the other ones is that you don't see Harry. You kind of see what the book might be about, but Harry is not front and center. So at least you get to imagine Harry in your own way, and you don't have that, handsome, dopey hat dad in your mind the whole time you're trying to form this character.
So here's my problem with that, though, Inks. Here's the thing that is good that I've actually started to grow on me about the other book covers. They have a stream of consciousness that connects them. These books don't look connected at all. There is no stream. There is none of these books look like they're connected.
The biggest mystery is that Inks still saw these covers for the audiobooks and still will listen to them.
I'm telling you, this is how this book gets disseminated: is you have to have a trusted individual that you were working in the trenches with, sharing cigarettes and trading M&Ms with.
You're picking
at least 3 years
the scabs
to build
off of
up
his
the trust.
Foot. You're trying to find the gnats eating his flesh.
Right.
That's what this is.
And then you can suggest to read the Dresden Files. But until you have built up that trust, you're not going to be able to bring up Dresden Files. I tried to bring them up too early, but yeah, the person that we work with, she was always giving me good suggestions, and I trusted her.
Yeah, and this is great. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just jump into the artists now. So we've done about half of the Dresden books, and as you can tell, it's fairly split. But for the most part, they're all pretty shitty. And Inks has more of the story here. I'm just gonna give some quick flavor. The Gentleman, the one with the hat guy, dude, is done by Chris McGrath. Chris McGrath is actually a pretty big artist, and Brengineer is gonna love this. He does digital art, and he uses photography and digital art to do his pieces.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so he hires his buddy Garth to go stand in front of a green screen.
Hey, I'm here to do the photo shoot.
Clothes.
All right.
He comes into the studio with an armful of Goodwill clothing to try this crap on.
If I can, I'm going to jump in real quick and flesh this out a little bit. I listened to an interview with Christian McGrath on The Chopping Block, which is an old podcast done by Jim Butcher's friend, and he was talking about art and criticism. And
you better be ready to take some criticism for these ones.
Yeah, he did an interview, and I actually have read and seen a bunch of interviews with Christian, and they usually go all about they go the same way, but his process is he draws a sketch, he does some sketches, the art director chooses the sketch that they like for the composition, he then, and here's a quote for him, he likes to work in a traditional way like the old masters. He gets a model and all that.
They all say that.
And so he gets a model,
Garth,
and he does a photo shoot, and
Dad pants.
He takes it into Photoshop, and he does the
That's
art
so much
in
effort.
Photoshop.
All those steps. You do a picture, you probably do a really cool painting, and then you take a photo, and then you digitize it? Why?
What was crazy is he said that in college he was anti-Photoshop, but in 1988 he went over to his buddy's house, and that all changed. And he says that the art directors really like it because you can just send them a file. And so, again, this is where we're seeing...
This is cheeseburger covers, folks. This is Arby's.
Yeah, the art is being overtaken by the money-making accent. We like it because it's easy and it's fast. And
but it hurts. It hurts when it comes out the other end.
It hurts.
It hurts real bad.
And here I'm going to get into not the interview, but just conjecture on my own part. He started out painting. He started out learning the traditional way, and then at some point he thought, and I don't know this, but I can imagine he thought, I got to make money.
Yeah,
I got to
sure.
start making money. I'm only getting 3 jobs a year. I can't live on this. And he started using Photoshop, and then he started using models, and he started to lean on it really heavy. And it's probably to the point where he may have lost the desire or the confidence to paint.
So this is artistic heroin.
Yeah, and so at this point he's taking and doing models, and if you go to his website, I've got a link there, you can see all of his other covers, and they are all hyper photorealistic, and you can tell that these people are real people. And then
it's horrible. It's horrible.
And he explains that he goes through and then he paints, the environment that they're in.
That's not. It's so. And I know there's no right way to do art. You can do art however you want, but fuck, man, it's so cheap that you just go and you take a picture of someone and then you just get it to brush over their face.
And also,
I used to do this stuff for fun when I was a kid, because I used to have Photoshop back before, when Photoshop was kind of like
accessible.
I wouldn't say affordable, but a little more accessible. And I just take a cool picture of myself in a pose. I'd throw a background on there, and I'd put like some nice filters over the top.
Wearing a skin suit. Doing goodbye horses. That's right. Tucking it in. This is you can do this. You can do this at home in an afternoon, and you don't need Photoshop to do it. You can get GIMP, you can get Affinity, you can get other cheaper photo editing software, and I could probably come up with 10 or 12 of these images in a week and be shooting them off.
Right. And
which is I can see that. I can see the things.
Maybe I should do that.
You should.
Well, but at some point, like, do you become that person that's just like pumping this out, and this is the thing that you do? I mean,
it becomes a job at that point, and you can't enjoy it,
right? And are you? I mean, maybe he's totally happy with this, and I'm totally conjecture at this point. But in the interview, he said that one of the problems he has with criticism is a lot of times it's not constructive. So I'm going to try and be constructive here and say, when you're an artist, at this point, Bringineer said it perfectly. It's not crafted, it's manufactured.
Yeah, absolutely.
And are you going to be a printer? Or are you going to be someone who puts soul into an image? Because a lot of times when you're using models like this and you're relying too heavily on it. I mean, I've used models. I've used myself to model things, but I'm kind of getting on my soapbox here, and like I said, I don't mean to shame him. He's done really well. He's doing well.
It's not shame. Look, here's the thing. Here's what I love, because what we're going to see is the covers are going to speak for themselves, and they do not change. There are 14 of these books, and the problem is that his art is the same in pretty much all of these.
Right.
And that's my problem, is everything looks the same. It's the same guy. It's the same hat.
One of the things that he said in the interview was like, oh, well, I try and use a different color for every time. And the interviewer goes, well, it looks like you're running out of covers or colors. and it was like, but the other thing that happens is, again, he's stiff. He looks so much like the model. And then, sometimes, I don't know if he uses a different model or if he uses the same guy, but it doesn't look like the same guy.
No, that's what I'm saying. You got the guy with the hair behind his ears, or you got Captain Chisel Chin.
He uses this model so much. I found an interview with the model. the model has a name. He's known as John Paul Pfeiffer, and he does.
Oh my!
It's romance novels.
It's his closet muse.
And you can look him up, and there are women out there that are like, to me, the real face of Harry Dresden will always and forever be John Paul Pfeiffer. For me, John Paul Pfeiffer is the only Harry Dresden for me. So if you're using a model so much to do your work that he is actually known and doing interviews for a loved series.
You might know me from the cover of the Dresden File books.
That's right.
I'm kind of
one of the quotes that I loved from the John Paul Pfeiffer interview was he advises models not to do nudity because it rarely is beneficial to furthering their career.
Yeah, here's the thing: they only know you for your Harry Dresden at that point.
I want to know the story behind that, but I'll just get back on track and real quickly say that one of the things that the questions that the interviewer asked was, how connected are you to the author? And he said, we're not. We're very much separated. And he's really talking mostly to the art director. And when he
humping those camels.
Right. And if you look at the cover for Deadbeat, that is his first cover that he did for the Dresden series. And at that point, he had not read the manuscript. He got instructions from the art director, and the art director said, "Oh, he's kind of a gothy guy. He's got longish hair, and he wears a hat."
This guy never read the book. He didn't even read the book. It turns
out that art director had never read a Dresden book. So, at least people, art directors, artists, read your subject material so that you can do it justice. Yeah. And eventually, at some point, he did read a Harry Dresden book, and he tried to ditch the hat. But at that point, the art directors were hooked. And they're like, listen here, the hat stays. It's a marketing gimmick, and we love it. The people love the hat. Turns out...
It's funny that you say that, because I was going to bring that up, too. The hat thing became it became like an inside joke.
Right.
Between basically the three people. And
I guess that's the... Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like... hat, no hat. They'd probably go back and forth, but in the end, whoever's publishing the book probably got to put the hat on.
Hey, where's the hat?
Yeah, where's my classic Dresden hat? And he even sounded remorseful in the interview. Like, he knew that he had messed up by listening to the art director, and he tried to backpedal it. It was too late. They were hooked on that hat, baby. And I've got to believe that Jim Butcher would be not really enjoying this, but again, he's separated from the artist at this point, and it's pretty much
he was just happy
Rock
to get his books put out there, probably,
pumping it out,
honestly.
Yeah. And you know what?
The Dresden Files was his first big thing.
Yeah, well, when you talk about Jim Butcher, you're going to find out that he's a cool dude, and I think at this point he must have just shrugged it off and just kept going.
It was probably funny for him, honestly, and I think if you read the books and you look at a picture of Jim Butcher, I feel like he kind of wrote himself in the books a little bit, and so he's probably okay with it. He's probably okay with the chiseled man on the front cover.
Right. I mean, we could keep talking about these covers. I am going to link to them all, but he did Deadbeat and then Proven Guilty and then White Knight, I believe, and then they decided to go back and do all of the first 5 books. And in those books, they wanted to do more landscape, and that's why you see Harry a little bit smaller.
Right. Which, real quick, Inks, to jump in here. These the first 5 books, the horrible landscape ones are done by let me pull up his name. It's Leo. Lee McLeod.
The original books.
The original book covers, yeah. And he actually did
the alternates.
The funny thing is he did some really cool covers for this book series called Spooksville, which I think is kind of like a kid's series. But check those out on your own time. Those are really cool. But actually, Lee McLeod co-designed some of these with Chris, yeah. At least on the wiki, on many of them, that's what it says. It says they work together on them. So his taint isn't fully gone from these. It's still being rubbed on there a little bit.
Well, and he even said, like, when he first did Deadbeat, like, he hadn't read the book, and he said, apparently I kind of got it. Like, one of the big complaints is that Harry's too handsome.
Actually, like I said... Real quick, come over here, Brengineer. If you're not looking, look at Deadbeat and Proven Guilty. These 2 books...
Dude, it's the same picture.
It's the same picture. No style change.
Dude, but from the other side.
It's cleaner, though.
It's literally the same pose.
However...
It's the same pose.
These 2 are my favorite. These 2 are my favorite covers. Specifically...
Wait, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, these are your favorite of all of them?
Look at Proven Guilty. Proven Guilty is awesome. First of all, the hat... is not. He finally figured out how to put it on his head. It's not like awkwardly sitting. You don't see that stupid chin strap.
Well, the thing too is the hat changes. Like, they don't even use the same hat. It goes from an Aussie hat to a fedora.
The only thing that stays the same is his staff, which I do appreciate. But the green, the green here with the kind of Innsmouth looking town in the background. This one I can totally get behind, and you can tell...
Yeah, the background fits kind of my imagining of a dingy, gross Chicago.
Absolutely.
For sure. I don't know, I'm looking at some of these later ones, and I'm definitely finding more to like in some of these later ones, to be honest.
We go to the next one. We have White Knight and Small Favor, and it's kind of weird because both Deadbeat and Proven Guilty look sharper. They look like he put more oil in his digital brush and less I don't know, fuzz. Because you go to the next two, and you look at White Knight and you look at Small Favor, and they've got that grain. What is that grain texture that they just spray on the book? And the actor's changed in Small Favor, and this is Texas West. He's getting ready to go into the saloon and take down some ruffians. This looks it should say starring Clint Eastwood, and he's just an old man with his staff trying to get some liquor. It's not good. It's not good. And he didn't learn.
It's a little low effort.
He didn't learn from these two. And White Knight, I'm assuming, is probably vampires again. And Small Favor, I'm going to say, is probably about glory holes. Just throwing it out there.
I think I remember Deadbeat has also got necromancers in it, now that I think of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We like necromancers here at Cover Decoder Land.
So kind of
we're all about them dead folks.
So kind of wrapping up like these covers. Again, heavily relying on models, using Photoshop, pumping them out under art direction, and again, I don't know how much Jim has been involved with it, but it's almost become its own little like
it's its own game.
Part of being in the club. If you have powered through those covers, if you have swallowed the pill and made it through the disgusting licorice flavor on the outside and enjoyed, what it had to offer, you're in the club. And a lot of people at this point, it's become endearing to be like, look at this garbage that our beautiful Dresden files are wrapped in.
Do you guys want to know the scary part is? Over my time researching and looking at these covers and finding the ones I hate and dislike, I have actually started to like these covers.
Because they're schlocky.
There's you know what they scream? Here's the thing. They scream sci-fi original. These are sci-fi original covers. Especially,
either sci-fi original or Hallmark sexy vampire man.
I like how they've totally ditched the staff in one, and now he's just got this Western gun. So now it's like you don't even know you don't even know what the book's about anymore.
So real quick, we'll wrap up these books. There's a couple more left, but the two I really wanted to talk about. My least favorite right here is probably Changes. Because, again, we've got the model with the hair curled over his ear.
And that's such a big book.
And what is up with the Aztec temple? What is going on?
I can't tell you.
I don't care. I hate it. I hate this cover.
I will wrap up this book in one word: sacrifice. Sacrifice.
Sounds awesome.
Or if two words, sacrifice everything. So this is an attempt to draw Harry without a hat, and this is for the card game, because
there was a card
big
game?
tabletop gamer. Yeah, he's a big tabletop gamer, and this is for the card game. It might be more horrifying than Harry with the hat. Because he's full on caveman wizard.
Is this Voldemort when he had his nose?
Right.
Dude, this is straight Harry Potter. This doesn't suggest anything modern day.
Yeah,
there's
too
no
clean.
taxi cabs outside.
Yeah,
there's no grungy bars down the street.
Watch my snake trick.
Yeah, he's too clean in this. Snake. Again, one of the reasons why I love this series is the handling of the magic. It's not Harry Potter magic. It's the magic is, if you believe it, you put the will into it. It doesn't matter how you get there. A lot of Harry's magic words are just made up. A lot of times he's grabbing a piece of chalk and a pizza box and whatever he can find around him to MacGyver a spell together. And that's why it's awesome, because if you believe it, you can achieve it in this magical world. And a lot of people are disgusted by the way Harry handles himself. And the way he does his magic, but he gets the fucking job done. He saves the day every time.
For magic users, the magic is not in this piece. Like, I mean, let me paraphrase that. There's a lot of magic in this piece, but the magic does not translate to the subject material. Like,
this is clean, beautiful magic.
Yeah, I mean, there are moments where like, the Harry, where are the rips? Where are the tears? Where are the scars? Right. Where are the baggy eyes?
Where's the dad pants?
His pentacle is like, his pentacle by the end of the series is like melted and dented, and he still wears it.
Yeah, he wears that shit every day. Well, let's cut over here to the man responsible. We got some images here of Jim Butcher. And Jim Butcher...
What a badass. First of all, what a badass.
Okay, so
look at this guy.
Here's the thing. Jim Butcher decided to have his life progress like a Harry Dresden book. He starts off, he's got a little change in his pocket. He looks good. He's had a shower. Next, he's joined a motorcycle gang. He hasn't been sleeping. He's eating weird foods. He's hanging out at odd bookstores. And over here on our last slide... He's gotten the shit kicked out of him. He's doing some sort of weird drug or magic potion to keep himself going, and he looks like shit.
And he doesn't know what's going on.
He does not know what's going on.
He's tired. He's got a Monster Energy drink on the desk in front of him there.
His last meal was pizza crusts.
He looks like he's his own attorney at his trial.
No, sir, I swear I didn't do it.
That's the thing is he's a down-to-earth dude. Like,
I'm just saying, if it's tax evasion, where's the money? I don't have any, so it can't be tax evasion.
I don't give a damn about the hat. Just read the material.
I think the hat's fine. I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
Yeah, so like we said, Jim Butcher's a cool dude. He's been writing since he was 19. He said himself his books sucked. His first books were horrible. He kept going to writing school. Dude, guys, this guy is a man who took his lodestone and was sharpening. He was sharpening his axe every day, sharpening that axe, and just attacking.
This is straight
life.
off his website too.
Yeah, he was just going for it. So he kept going and he kept trying. He was 25 when he published the first Dresden book. He wrote Full Moon. He published Full Moon 9 months later. 9 months later off of his first book. The next two books came 1 year after another. So this guy is just out there pumping out amazing novels. So he wrote the Dresden series. And then he wrote another 6 books. In the Caldera inks, what's that series called?
Codex Alera.
Codex Alera.
Yeah, I'll say real quick, it wasn't my favorite, but if you like more traditional fantasy, you might like that one.
Yeah. So he wrote that in between the Dresden books, and as you can see, the Dresden books, there's about 14. He wrote one book a year. And they're quality books, guys. So this guy, he is our gold standard of what a creative dude does. No seconds wasted. Get your claws out. Get your axe sharp and attack those projects because he's out there. And even though his covers, I do not feel represent his work, the love and craft of the material is very strong. It's puckered butthole tight is the material.
I mean, again, a part about like being in the club of the Dresden Files, when you have your cult following and you start with book 1 and you can, as the books progress, you can see him getting better, and so you start to root for him. And by the last book, he's got this whole mythos that he's just created one step at a fucking time.
And so here's the thing. You know what would have been cool? You know what I would have liked to see? So this is something we haven't done, and then we can do this because there's a full series. I wish if they had started the Dresden File covers off like that first one, crispy, cool, that's fine. But if as the books had gone on, they had progressed Harry, they had had him more downtrodden on each cover and more beat up and actually showed a visual progression of his character, how cool would that have been? You could have had a 14-book saga, and every cover could have been the story of Jim Butcher slowly degrading into not paying his taxes. It would have been amazing. But instead, you can't learn from your mistakes, and you just got to keep going clean.
Yeah, no, Rock is like, hey, we're going to stick with what works. The hat sells to get it pumping out. I haven't even read the new book. I think he wears a lot of black and maybe some dad jeans. There we go. Try using sepia this time. No, periwinkle. Periwinkle's in this year.
Oh, great. Well, guys, great covers. bad covers, all covers, you have to look at them and you have to find for yourself. Some of you are going to look at these covers and you're going to go, it's fun. It's fun. It's great. And the books are great. And that's fine. For us, I think as decoders, we want more from our covers. Right. We want our covers to tell the story of the book we're about to read. And that's what this episode has really been about. It's about these books that are fantastic, so good, but the covers don't do it.
Right. I mean, we end up talking about...
We're not out here to browbeat, you know? I mean, like, right. Clearly there is artistry behind the covers. There is someone who is very skilled with the software they're using to make the covers. Obviously, the books are selling a bazillion copies, and Jim Butcher is making tons of money. We're just trying to look at them, you know, objectively, compared to other things. I mean, we all have our own gold standards.
Absolutely. Right. I mean, and the thing is too, I think it's important to bring these things up and talk about these covers because it gets different people of different frames of mind speaking up. So if you're out there and you look at these covers and you're like, fuck you guys, I love these covers. They're so cool.
Good.
Let us know. We love
Cover
that.
Decoder.
I love that. Cover Decoder.
At Gmail.
Tell us why they're good.
Wrong.
If you're a digital artist, let us know what he did right in these covers.
Yes, be a part of the conversation.
Yeah, because we want to know. And it's just been cool kind of like going deeper on these things. And that's what we love about this podcast is just finding out for ourselves and, of course, from the artist what this shit's all about.
Right. I mean, we tend to talk about older stuff a lot. Do we want to bring back the golden age of covers? Yes, sort of, probably, absolutely. Because a lot of times with digital media now, you can sample books. You can read a page from the book. You can even listen to an audio sample of the audio book. And covers have kind of lost their potency, their importance. But for us, they are just as important as they ever were. Because you need to... The cover is the doorway. It is the gateway. We talked about on Dungeon Synth. It's what brings you in. And a lot of times for me, when a cover is too detailed, too explanatory, it turns me off because I want to fill out the world. But on the other hand, if it doesn't show enough, if it's too minimalist, then you're not going to want to dive into it. So you have to reach that balance. And we just want everyone to think about covers and think about how they are important. They are the doorway into the material.
Yeah, and next time you go out and look at a book, take a look at the cover, and maybe maybe actually no, this is better. Go to your bookshelf. Go to your bookshelf and look at your books, and look at the cover and be like, wait a minute, does this cover actually represent the book that I read? Does it do a good job? Does it matter? Why does it matter to me? Do I actually care? Do that. Pull out all your books. It's a super fun thing you can do. I'd love to do it at the book house, but it would take us a year to rifle through all the cummy paperbacks. But yeah, go take that challenge on yourself. Go to your parents' house. That's a fun thing to do. And look at their shitty books. Yeah, you're going to...
What is... 21 positions you can do at home?
Dad, why are you on the cover of this? Who's this? So go out there, look at some covers, and see if they represent the material.
Well, folks, I want you to fall in love with Jim Butcher's works. He's a guy making it, and he started from the bottom. He said he didn't have any talent, and he had to chisel that talent away from the stone. You are now, you can be in the club. Read those books, fall in love with those books. Don't wait 3 years of trench warfare to be convinced. Take it from us.
Yes.
You pick up the book, you fold the cover over, you don't even look at it, you read what's inside,
you like
what you read.
Yeah, and folks, please, like we talked about, if you have questions, comments, covers, if you want to argue with us, we would love that. Email us at coverdecoder@gmail.com, or you can send us a message on our Instagram, Cover Decoder at Instagram. And just let us know what you think. And please, as ever, follow us, subscribe us, like to us on whatever you're listening to. 2 seconds, hit that button. It really helps us out. Write a review. And please, whatever you do, no matter what you do, if this is the only episode you listen to, grab that axe, sharpen that axe, grab those covers, grab that pen, pick up whatever utensil you have, whatever project you're doing, and just attack it with full force. Now is the time to go out there and seek those projects and make some covers.
We need aggressive creation.
Aggressive creation. That's what we want. We want you to make cool shit and send it to us so we can talk about it. That's what we want to do, folks. And if that's all we do from this...
Don't manufacture, create.
Create, yes. This is Cover Decoder. We'll see you next time on another episode. Thank you.